If you'd have said to me this time last year, okay, when we were going like a busted arsehole, project 12 months, exactly 12 months into the future, you'll be sitting fourth on the AFL ladder and a game away from equal top. I wouldn't have thought that would have been impossible. Okay, I wouldn't have thought that would have been impossible at all. Unlikely, and that's where we sit at the moment. But if you'd then gone on to say by round 14, you'd have a starting backline, fullback Lewis Young. This is 12 months ago. Lewis Young, the former Western Bulldog, sort of fringe key position player who was struggling to get a game at the Dogs. And your centre half back would be Sam Durden, who at that stage, I don't know where he was playing last year. Was he even playing for Glenelg in the Sample? Not quite sure. But that would be our starting lineup. And chuck in as well, Sam Doherty, considering where he was at 12 months ago, that he'd be, by round 14, in all-Australian form. In fact, a shoe-in for a halfback flank on all-Australian. And up the other end, would have you said that Charlie Curnow would be on target to potentially win a Coleman medal. Jesus. No, none of those would have been a possibility at all. It's been an amazing season for us. Just an incredible season. What's been thrown our way, the challenges, etc., etc. And we talk about injuries. I'm not going to use those as an excuse for tomorrow night, because I'm actually relatively confident about tomorrow night against the Tigers. But it's just been an incredible roller coaster ride for us, and to be able to sit where we are at the moment, but also, I reckon, on knife's edge. Like, there could be a tipping point in regards to if we lose tomorrow night against the Tigers, we become in that really vulnerable position, but at the same time we win. Okay, and we're just in a really, really strong position. It's just been an amazing season for us, and I'm thoroughly looking forward to tomorrow night. Carlton v Richmond to kick off round 14 at the MCG. 7:20 start, Thursday night football. We kick off round 14. The AFL thought, we won't let these two teams kick off the season proper. We'll let Melbourne and the Bulldogs do that. But now we're kicking round 14 off on a Thursday night. I don't like Thursday night football. I'll put that on the table right here, right now. It's okay when your team's not playing, you're at home, you haven't got much else to do. You'll sit back on the couch and watch a Thursday night game. You can go to bed at halftime if you're a little bit tired. But, yeah, I'm not a fan of them. I'm not a fan of Thursday night footy when your actual team's playing. I don't know. I'm a little bit more of a traditionalist. We know I've just spoken about the importance of this game. We're currently sitting fourth on the AFL ladder and 2 games clear of the Richmond Football Club, the Tigers, who sit in 9th position. They were inside the top 8 until Collingwood upset the D's on Monday. In a great performance by then. They've become the real giant killers this season. But we know a win for Richmond will see them remove Collingwood from that spot in the top 8. So very, very important for the Tigers. And we know, I've just spoken about it before, Geelong, St Kilda, Sydney, they can all jump in front of us, and we could be potentially sitting in 7th spot if we lose this game. If wins go the way of the Cats, the Saints, and also the Swans. They're very winnable games for those 3 clubs. But we know what a win will do. We know that, we could be, come tomorrow night, we could be sitting on 40 points with the D's and Brisbane. It's quite mind-blowing to think that way. Look, from a form line point of view for this game, it's sort of similar, I reckon. The Tigers have been pretty good, very consistent. They should have beaten the Swans in that game at the SCG. They jumped the Swannies, and the Swans clawed them back in that game. So they could have been in a stronger position, but their form line's been good. and similar to ours, like what did we won 5 out of our last 6, and we dropped that game against the Pies, which could have gone our way. I reckon we played poorly in that game anyway. I didn't think we set the world on fire against the Bombers last week as well. So from a form line point of view, it's hard to get a gauge on exactly which side tomorrow night goes in, with the better form. You could probably mount an argument for Richmond, considering that, our midfield, although it's been strong, it seems to have come back to the table just a little bit in regards to the clearances out of the middle. And our back line will be stretched. It's going to be stretched tomorrow night. But, really looking forward to it. Obviously we played this mob in round 1 and got the job done in a terrific win. We had that barnstorming finish to the game where we piled on those goals to get our season off to a great start. But there's been some personnel changes since then, particularly for us. And we've spoken about those key position players. We started off the year with Wiedering and Oscar McDonald in these key posts, and not to forget McGovern. So, we lose McDonald, Wiedering, McGovern, and also Zach Williams. So that's 4 out of his starting 6 down back who are not playing. And not to forget, we haven't got Pitnet and we haven't got Adam Chera, who I thought played really well in round 1 against the Tigers. And look, Richmond are just about back to full strength. And Martin played in round 1. We know that. Had a spell then, but now he's apparently in doubt. So he's the only one from an injury and illness point of view that mightn't play. And that, look, I hope he doesn't for our sake. And that will just even it up a little bit, because we just appear to be a little bit decimated at the moment. But really, they are going in pretty strong. We remember that game because Prestia got hurt really early in that game and was subbed out. And they didn't have Kane Lambert, who's up and down a little bit with his hip injury, but he's been back in. And also Nick Vostone didn't play in round 1 either, and he's been back for a while as well. And they're arguably going to get, when I say arguably, he's in probably career best form. And I speak about Tom Lynch, who hasn't played since the game against Essendon, the Dreamtime game. And he's kicked 31 goals for the year from 10 games. And he's in is in ripping form. And he's expected to be back. Although this is the second time that he's hurt that hamstring. So hopefully they are a little bit cautious with him. I don't think so. I think he will play. For us, Marchbank out. It's just a bizarre one. A real bizarre one. And you question the durability now of a number of players in our list. An interesting press conference today with Michael Voss. And he talks about we're still very much in list build mode. Not only game style mode, but he mentions list build mode, and we're not the finished product as far as our list is concerned. I think he's pretty much spot on. We went into this season with so many question marks on so many players in regards to their durability. Marchbank, and it's devastating for him from a personal point of view and also from a team perspective as well. But it just gets to the stage where you start to think, well, shit, this is my football team, yeah? We want to be playing finals football and being a very successful football team, but we'll continually talk about the same blokes all the time, Marchbank. And these are list management concerns that need to be addressed. Cunningham, McGovern, McDonald, Zach Williams is in and out of the team through injury. It won't be long before Jack Martin does something. He's back out of the team as well. So, yeah, it is a real concern what happens to those players moving forward, particularly into 2023. So Durden comes in. That's been announced that the former Kangaroo Melbourne defender and forward comes in to replace Marchbank. I reckon it's a pretty good in regards to, like, he's going to have to play on a Revolt or a Tom Lynch, and we're going to need him. we're really going to need him to step up to the mark tomorrow night. And Chera's out. I reckon that's a big out for us. I really do. He just adds that class on the outside. He's pretty tough on the inside as well. Just got that nice balance to his game. So who replaces him? You'd expect it to be Paddy Dow, who's, like he was okay in the VFL last week. Will Setterfield was another one that was okay in the VFL last week, and another really disappointing loss for our boys in the VFL against the Bombers. I'm not over confident with the replacement for Cherry, to be perfectly honest. But it'd be, it's an opportunity for Dow or Setterfield to get back into this team and play as an inside mid. Tigers, well, they omitted a heap, quite a few players before the Port game, and just meaning they are getting stronger and stronger. They went in last week without Castagna, who played in the VFL, Ross, and they dropped young Maurice Rioli. So does any of those come back into the team? We're just going to have to wait and see for them. But fingers crossed, just fingers crossed. I know you want to face the opposition with their strongest lineup. But the fact that we really are a little bit decimated at the moment, would it hurt to have Dusty out of the team? I don't think so. Big questions for us. Will Richmond, and I think they will Richmond be better equipped than what Essendon were? I suppose if they are able to gain any ascendancy, you would think we'd still have the upper hand in the middle of the ground, but they do have pretty strong ruckman in there in Nankervis and also Soldo. But if they do start to win the clearances out of the middle, which Essendon destroyed us in that first half last week, will Richmond be better equipped at making us pay with that first or second clearance out of the middle? I thought we defended really well last week from that first clearance. Are Richmond better equipped at that? Not quite sure. And are Richmond better equipped at stopping our defensive transition, which we were really good at last week for large periods of that game? I think they are. I don't think we're going to have it all our own way in regards to the likes of Doc and Sard and Nick Newman and, those types of players streaming off the half-back line and using that corridor. We used the corridor really well last week. I think Richmond and Damien Hardwick, and they're going to be a lot harder to play against in that regards. Question marks on the Tigers. I don't think they're invincible anymore. It was always when you face the Tigers during that dynasty, and it's not that long away, that dynasty, but are they really hungry? Still, I did listen to Dylan Grimes last week after the game. Mentioned, what did he play last week? Was it 250 or 200 games, Dylan Grimes? Been a terrific, he's the captain of the football club now, and he spoke about that, the thrill, that trying to get that thrill back of winning a premiership, and he's played in 3 of them, and that winning feeling of playing in one. But are they really that hungry, considering, the age demographic and that core group, that staple of players that sort of drove? I mean, that's such an even team across that little sort of period there. But, you talk about the likes of Revolt and Cochin and Edwards and even Martin. Are they still hungry? Or are they capable? Are they physically capable to get the job done? Who knows? But they've still got those really dangerous players, and I call them the little barometers, who really do ignite them. Shai Bolton and Liam Baker. Wherever those two boys play, Bolton forward to centre and Baker, who starts down back sometimes and goes forward. Just game breakers. Jaden Short, big jobs for Owies, Fisher and Durden. I'm talking about Corey Durden, not Sam Durden, to I suppose stop the impact of a Jaden Short and also Daniel Rioli. And Rioli's been terrific this year of that rebound from half back. I'd love us to put a little bit of work into Daniel Rioli. And I mean a lot of work defensively. He's been particularly dangerous, and he has become a little bit of a goal kicker from half back as well. So they do have that next layer of players still coming through, which makes them really, really dangerous. And I could sort of understand now why we brought Jordan Boyd in last week. I suppose that was just a little bit of a mini apprenticeship for him last week, or a little rehearsal to play on either a Liam Baker or a Shai Bolton. That's a huge, huge job for him. as to Adam Sard and Nick Newman, in regards to trying to get that balance right between attack and defence from our back halves. Look, the Tigers generally start well. They started well against us in round one. Started well against Port Adelaide last week. Started well against the Swannies in that loss as well. So, do they tire with those older type players? I don't want to be in a position where we're going to be jumped in this game. I just feel, given the importance of this game for Richmond, if they jump us early, they'll find a way to win. So we really need to be in this contest. I really believe that we really need to be in this contest early. I'm not saying that we can't fight back or we don't have it in us to be able to fight back, but I just believe how important this game is for the Tigers. If they get a sniff and if they get a bit of a jump on us, and considering that they do have some firepower up in their front half and we will be stretched, this could get pretty dangerous for us if we let them get off to a flyer, which they have done thus far. Grimes goes to Charlie. No doubt about that. Need Charlie to continue to present and to continue to be dangerous. Would love him to get a hold of Grimes. Tarrant to Harry. I reckon Harry can cause a few headaches for Tarrant. I really do. What do they do with Bolter? Do they stretch us by putting him forward? They've got the flexibility with Gibkiss, who really did struggle last week defensively for the Tigers, and they sent him forward in that last quarter. He might not even play. They might give him a rest. I'm not quite sure. But what do they do with Bolter? They put him forward. Just going to have to wait and see. And we know that Young, we know he will probably play on Tom Lynch. Lynch is the one. He really is. And we know Revolt's probably got one or two or three really good games left in him. And we don't want that to be tomorrow night. And that's a huge, huge job for Sam Durden. I don't know, guys. I am relatively confident with this one. I really am. I just think, I don't know. I just feel that we're in a really good space at the moment in regards to our attitude and what we want to achieve. And I think we're well equipped. That's probably the word I'm looking for. Well equipped to get the job done against Richmond. I wasn't overly impressed with them against Port Adelaide. They still can be dangerous. I just think if we can get that dominance out of the middle and get back to what made us, and I know Cherry's a really big out, get back to what made us really good, probably pre the Collingwood game, where we really did dominate that centre square, then can they hold us? They do hold up pretty well down back with Lostone and Broad and the like, but can they hold us? With the pressure that Durden, Fisher, and also Owies can provide. It's going to be a classic on a cold night, an absolute classic. Looking forward to it. Tell us what you think. Are you confident with this one? Give us a margin. Who are the dangerous players for the Tigers that really worry you in this one? And have we been just stretched too far, given our challenges down back? Speak soon.